Before you buy your next family vehicle, you're gonna wanna see how these three stack up. The cutting-edge electric SUV, the tech-packed Tesla Model Y, or the good old gas minivan. So I purchased all three of these cars with my own money. There's no sponsorship on this video. I've got a family with 3 kids. We've thoroughly tested all 3 cars. And by the end of this video, you're gonna see the unique pros and cons of each car so that hopefully you'll have a better idea of which one might be the best fit for you. Starting with seating, positions, how many bodies can we hold inside the car? The van, it holds a lot. We've got captain chairs up in this model. Obviously with car seats, it's very spacious. And then for the back seat, oh, they're down. Shoot, let me out. All right, let's try that again. With this Pacifica, they actually did some fancy motorized seats, which is nice. You can just hit normal, and then they're automatically gonna go up on their own. I like that feature. Hey, we got babies. This is real life, okay? Like, you got the pretzel, the markers, and the chomp sticks. It doesn't get any more real than this. All right, so you've got with the minivan, 2 up front, 2 in the middle with the captains. Obviously some vans have bench in the middle and then the bench in the back. This one we got 3 seats. So a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a total of 7. It's really nice that you can actually recline, incline your seats for whatever, you know, posture position you want. Folding headrests. And let me go back there to show you what it fits a 5'10" adult. Oh. Yeah, you got to manually yank it. It's one of those things that's... maybe go to the... Just film from this side. She's old, okay? She needs some love. Nice little moonroof in the back. And then seating back here. I mean, 5'10" adult. It's plenty spacious. I mean, you could... I don't know if I would want to do a road trip back here, but if you've got big kids, this is obviously going to have the most space for long trips, front, middle, or rear. Yeah, the car seats fit perfect in here. Lots of space for the doors to open up and load the kids in and out, or the babies. Seating for the Tesla Model Y, we went with the 7-seater, so 2 in the front, 3 in the middle, and they squeezed in a tiny little 2 seats in the back. Let me show you. Now for an adult in the middle row, it fits very well. These are nice seats, plenty of leg room. It's easy enough to put the kids in, but the doors don't open all the way. And I will say I've knocked the sides of the doors a lot loading in the car seat. The middle seat is, you know, a little tight, but things fold down if you want some cup holders there. And then to get to the back row, let me show you. Press that button to slide things forward. Oh, there we go. So that drops down, and then the back row, let's go ahead and raise this guy up. Bring that forward a little bit. And do the dance. There we go, the seat comes up. All right, there we go. No sort of recline back here. The headrests do pop up, but they're a little thin. And then for seating, size and comfort, obviously you're not going to be, you know, shoving some grown adults in the back, but just to kind of give you scale and size. Even my little 7-year-old boy, he complains this is too tight for him. It's good for short little trips around town maybe, but you know, going on a long road trip, pull this thing back. There we go. You've got, you know, 2 inches of knee space and a tiny little 4-inch window.
Now when
so,
I drop that trunk,
yeah. So look at this. You can drop the trunk and
we'll go down slowly.
you go slow. Wow. Look at this. So my head's kind of rubbing up on there. Again, if I was a kid, I'd be slouched down. It works for little stuff, but man, it is a very tight rear seat back here. Coming out, I'll do this. Oh, there we go. All right, and then getting out. Oh. For my kids, we'd have them go in and out through the trunk. That was a little bit easier than this whole middle seat situation. Seating in the Kia EV9. This is a 6-seater. We went with the bucket seats in the middle. Gives a little bit more space for adults. Let me sit here. I mean, it is so nice, very comfortable, very spacious. You've got the full reclining. These are actually heated seats here in the middle, heated and cooled in the front. And then for the back, plenty of space for the booster seats. For an adult, it's a little tight, but a lot more spacious than the Model Y. Not as big as the minivan. You've got cup holders, you've got USB charging, you've got your own vents back here, even some light controls, adjustable heads. I mean, it's like, this is a nice middle ground, I think. For loading in a car seat, I'm gonna say the winners are the van and the Kia. Check it out with our little Duna. We fold it up, the doors open almost all the way wide, 90 degrees, and it's really easy to load it in and click it. As you saw there, I might hit a little bit of handle or something on here, but not bad. For the Tesla, it's kind of a tight squeeze, and I didn't love that. Talked about hauling people, now about hauling things. Minivan is gonna be the clear winner. I love this deep, area to throw in all your groceries, junk, whatever. The seats, the back fold down, the middles go down into the floor, so it's flush. You could load in a 4x8 sheet of plywood or load in your Christmas trees, whatever. It's basically like a covered truck bed, and I love minivans for that. Storage, A+. Tesla storage, you've got a nice deep rear trunk back here. This actually holds a lot, really good. Even on these little wells on the right and the left, we stuff a lot on our road trips back there. If you've got kids back here, there's not a lot of space, but if you don't have kids, then the rear seats fold flat, and there's a lot of storage space for road trips back there. Not as much as the minivan. With EVs, you gotta consider the frunk or the front trunk, and show you that the Tesla is actually pretty good. It goes deep. I've loaded up maybe a suitcase with a backpack and a pillow or something like that for a road trip. It holds a substantial amount of space that can't be discounted. And then on the Kia EV9, the rear space is sort of mid. I'd say back here, you can hold obviously plenty of groceries and things like that. Rear seats fold down. This one is manual. Pull it down, drops. Do that again on the right. And you can hold tons of stuff. For the under storage space, it's not great. They loaded in a few, car emergency things, but very sadly, it does not go deep like the other two. Very odd and frustrating it doesn't go deep. I mean, with my minivan, it goes so down low. I like that. And then for the frunk on here, the frunk on the Kia, this is like an F-, I'm sorry. It's like, what is this, 5 inches. It goes a little bit deeper here. Now I will say this is the GT dual motor option, so it's very shallow. You could hold just a little bit of stuff. On the other model that has only rear wheel drive motor, it goes way deeper. So I'm guessing a lot of that space is taken up by motor stuff. But again, Tesla was able to do it. Rivian's able to do it. A lot of frunk space adds to your capacity. With the EV9, this was a disappointment. And then for the minivan, well, let me show you all this space up here. You could load in a piece of bologna and cook that up for a road trip or something, but I wouldn't be tucking anything of important storage up here. For miles and range, well, this is a major pro and con, and gas still beats electric. With this old trusty full tank, you can go 400-500 miles on a full tank. And then when you're empty, you stop at the millions of gas stations, one on every corner. It takes 5 minutes, and then you're off to the races again. You can't beat that. With electric, we got the Tesla Model Y long range model, and it goes around 300-ish miles on a full charge. And then same with the EV9, it's the GT. It does about 300 miles, and when you want to stop, it's going to take you that 30 to maybe 45 minutes for a full juice up. You could do rapid 20 to 80% in maybe 15-ish minutes, but there's a lot less charging stations than there are gasoline stations and all that hassle. Now for home charging, I installed a nice level 2 Tesla charger that can do both my Tesla and Kia, and it does great. Nice full charge in a couple hours. It's really good. With the minivan, well, obviously I gotta go to the station. If you're a renter, let's say you live in an apartment or townhome, you might not be able to install a nice, fast charging, and that's going to be a variable that you'll have to think about. Now, maintenance is super important, and with EV platforms, you've really got wiper fluid that you got to top off once in a while, maybe tires and brakes, but even the brakes and the pads, they're not worn as much because you got regen braking, and I mean, there's nothing else up here. It's so sweet, and I love it that it just works. With the old gas engine, well, here's just a short list of things that probably will go wrong. Ding! I'm sure you guys like me, if you've ever owned a gas car before and you hit 50,000 miles or plus, you better start saving up that money because things are gonna start going wrong and you need to start fixing things. And even if things aren't majorly going wrong, things like oil changes, oil filters, timing belt, all these maintenance things that you got to keep up on. I mean, oil changes are like $100 to $200 now. They're crazy expensive, and that stuff is just going to add up over time. Now let's start getting into the fun techiness of all of these. That's the part that I really enjoy. Starting first with the key fobs. It's the van, it's old school, right? You got to have the key fob in order to unlock the car. In order to start the car, this thing has to be close to the steering wheel, power on, power off manually. It's just old school. With the Tesla, this thing is awesome. Everything is controlled with your phone. Now, of course, you got those little NFC tags, but I've left those home and never use them. With the phone, the car automatically unlocks when you walk up, it opens up, and then all you got to do is put your foot on the pedal, it automatically turns on the car, pop it into drive, and then zip out of there. When you get to your destination, sometimes you pop it into park, sometimes I don't. I just come to a stop, pop open the door, the car automatically shuts down, I walk away, and then at a certain distance, the phone is going to tell the car to auto lock itself. It's so seamless and I love it. We've got a little mixture of the old school and new school. You've got a key fob, or you can use your phone. I'll show you more of that later. Now with the fob, you walk up, it automatically should unlock, but right here you can see it's not. So this kind of is an example of, jank. Come on. All right, we'll just manually unlock it. And then if you want with your key fob, or you set up their phone, you can get in the car, foot on the brake. Well, it doesn't really do anything. You just hold it and then press the power button to turn on your electric car. Either put your key fob here or your phone here. It doesn't really matter. And then you can pop it in and drive. When you get to your destination, go ahead and power off the car, close the door, and you walk away with your phone. It's not going to automatically lock the car like the Tesla does. You got to manually lock it with your fob or your phone. So a little bit lame there. One of the fancier features with the key is if we have the car off and you lock it, then you can go ahead and step back, hold down this button, and let's say you're in a tight parking spot. Oh, no. See, I remember. Keep rolling. This is so annoying. The car's off and it's locked, but that's not good enough. Now you got to hold this button to remote start the car. There we go. Okay, do you see it? Mm-hmm. Come along here. You can hear it. It's slightly, turned on the engine, but it's an electric car. It should just always be on like the Tesla. Now I believe we can go ahead and creep the car out. Let's go ahead and step back. Oh, here she comes. So if you're in a tight little parking spot, this might be helpful to, slide in and out. Let go of that, and then you can reverse it as well. So there we go. It's cool that it has the feature, but I'm not sure if that's a party trick because I don't know if I'll ever use it. Now for the Tesla, let me go ahead and turn this off because she's loud. It's getting my location real quick. Contain, degraded. I can see all 4 cameras. All right, so we got locked in. And now with the Tesla, you hold down this button and the car basically drives itself to you. Here she comes, check it out. She's coming out of the tight parking spot. Oh, it's so cool. Okay, follow me. There she is. Is she gonna come around here? No, she's not getting any closer. That's still pretty cool though. and a round of applause when it arrives. That is so sweet. As for what Tesla is famous for is the hands-free driving. You've got autopilot, you've got an optional full self-driving. You just, pull the stalk down once and ding, it's gonna drive really well. It's very smooth. Over the years, the recent upgrades, way less nagging on the wheel, which is really nice. Now there's a camera inside the cabin that's looking at me. It's watching my eyeballs, making sure I'm paying attention. And even here, you can set your speed limit. It's gonna remind me to touch the wheel once in a while, but my feet are off, my hands are off the wheel, and it's just really nice. Of course, it's gonna have the adaptive cruise control and keep me in the lanes. It'll automatically do lane changes around slow cars. You can set how assertive you want the Tesla to drive for you. It's got the traffic light recognition, which is honestly one of my favorite features. So it's gonna automatically ding when the light turns green and lets you know in case if you're distracted. Tesla is just years ahead of all the competition, and it's very clear when you sit behind one of the wheels, you pop it in full self-driving, it feels very advanced. It's awesome. When it comes to smart app control, again, Tesla is just years ahead. They're leading the charge. I can adjust the climates on the fly, up, down, crack the windows, defrost. I can view the cabin camera, so if you got your pets, left in the car, you can check on them from wherever you're at. Of course, you got camp mode. You got all the features with the Tesla, and it just works. It's really good. For the Kia, on the other hand, they're doing an okay job. It's more like you send commands, like warm up the car, and sometimes it's a little buggy. It's just not as refined as the Tesla, and so I hope Kia can just step it up with some future developments and updates, and hopefully it can catch up to the Tesla. And for the Kia and hands-free driving, it's not going to be as advanced as the Tesla, but it still has some nice, auto cruise control. It's going to lock in with traffic and slow and stop. It's going to hold you in the center lane. It's mostly mapped and works best on highways, but sort of works on backside roads. I'm just going to keep my hands a little bit closer to the wheel just in case for if or when it snaps out of place. Now, I will say I like that I can gain control, do a quick lane change, and then I can let go, and it's just going to snap me back into the lanes, which is really cool. With the Tesla, it sort of disables every time you take control and you got to re-enable it. Now, while I'm driving on the highway, yes, I can hit the blinker and it's going to automatically, check if it's clear and then lane change for me. So that's nice, but it's just a little bit slower and more hesitant than the Tesla. The confidence level just isn't there. It does have hands-free auto parking, but man, it is pretty rough. We're going to come to a stop here. I'm going to hold this button. It says it's searching for a parking spot. Drive slowly. Let's see if any of these spots pull up. These are the exact spots I parked for the Tesla. Doesn't look like it's working. Yeah, right there it shows. It's just not good. I did it once or twice. It took like half an hour for it to, sort of get me in a spot. I will say though, for the parking cameras, they are awesome. Parking cameras actually beat the Tesla. You know how the Tesla's got the 3D rendering and stuff? It's cool. Look at these cameras. So as I'm turning around, let's say I want to get in that spot. You got the 3D camera view. This thing is really cool. And then one of my favorites, front, you can change your angles. You can do this one, this split-see view. This one's one of my favorites. Check it out. I'm going to be able to see precisely the left wheel, right wheel, get centered straight up in the lane. I can go full screen here. I want to get nice and close to the curb, and boom, perfect. Locked in, get an overhead, 360. That is really sweet. Wish Tesla had this. Oh, right there, did you hear that beep? It actually vibrated the steering wheel to let me know there's a car there. Some really good safety features on the Kia. That's a whole nother video in itself. So far, you guys gotta let me know down in the comments, which one are you liking better? Which one would you buy? Now, when it comes to the infotainment systems, there's pretty stark differences here. With the minivan, well, you've got your standard clusters up here, and this is fine. But as for the infotainment, well, it's just pretty junky. It's gonna be sluggish. The maps are just, look at these maps looks like they were created in 1995. Like, this is insane. It's sluggish. It looks terrible. I would never use it. Yeah, you've got your, controls here. You've got your radio here. I don't know who listens to the radio. Bluetooth media, climate controls apps. It's just pretty rough. And this thing is 2018. It's not a super old car. In the back, we've got 2 flip-up screens so the kids can, watch their movies and shows for road trips. That's been cool. But as for this Uconnect Theater, Blu-ray, disc, streaming, HDMI, we've had a I've had to pop in a little USB drive just to get some video files to the screens, and oh my gosh, it's such a headache, and would not recommend. Now, I just got into the car, and the car's just always on. I love it. It's kind of like it just seamlessly works. Now, if I put my foot on the brake, that's how I drive away, but I can still control the car. I can do all my maps. I can do my music. I can watch my YouTube and Netflix, and there's so much on the Tesla. As everyone knows, it's all controlled by this one big, beautiful display. You've got your music streaming apps built in. It is just awesome. I understand that a lot of people want more buttons and dials and controls. You'll get that on the Kia EV9, as you'll see in a second, but it is kind of cool that you control your locks, your lights, seating, everything from this one display. Now, sometimes when I'm driving, I want to see the speed cluster right in front of me and not always have to look to the side, but you get used to it. Yeah, with the maps on the Tesla, it hands down wins. You're able to get the traffic data for navigating to on a road trip. It'll automatically plot out all your, stopping points, where to charge, and what percentage you'll have left. It's very seamless, very Apple-esque, and I like it. As you've probably seen, you can do your browser, you can check out news, weather, all sorts of information. Under theater, you've got your Netflix, Hulu, Disney. Scroll through your TikToks and YouTube. No, you can't watch this stuff while you're driving, but I guess I understand. Your camera displays, it's all through the screen here, and they've done a really nice job. It's very seamless. Now for the Kia, it's sort of in the middle ground. We've got to, power it on in order to get our displays and controls going. You got different profiles. This is nice, for your different seating positions and stuff, but again, a little bit more old school. The Tesla, it just automatically knows which phone connects to the car. So when my wife connects, it automatically is going to get all of her settings dialed in. Here, you got your, old school profiles. Now for your main screen here on the right side, it's pretty fluid. Honestly, I think they did a good job with that. With this little middle display, this is where your climate controls are. Again, it's all touchscreen. It looks really nice. And then your main heads-up cluster here, this is where you can get your speed, trip, your range. You got your levels of regen braking. So a little bit of that old school mixed with the new school screen look style. And I think it looks really nice. And as a bonus point, it's got the HUD heads-up display on here with the speed, with the directions mapping. I thought it was kind of a gimmick, but I've come to really enjoy it. The built-in maps is just, I'm sorry, Kia, you've got to fix this. Look at this. It's like, not only is it kind of sluggish, it looks terrible. What is this line with a... What is this point telling me? Like, oh, I want to go right here?
That's as the bird flies.
Yeah.
How far it is.
Yeah, this is not helpful. I'm sorry. It looks atrocious and it's not helpful. Set your POI. I mean, this looks like a 2001, infotainment display, and they just ported it over, and it's sort of disappointing. Now, thankfully, they do have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So you're able to do your maps, messages, music, podcasts, stuff like that. If you want to go on a long road trip, this minuses a lot of points in my book because their built-in map system, yeah, you can see where the charging stations are on your route, but it's not smart enough to suggest, hey, you should stop here. You're going to have 5% left and it's going to take you 25 minutes to charge. All that the Tesla automatically does. I don't know. It's okay, but it's just not seamless like the Tesla. With wireless CarPlay, for example, it's nice you're able to use Google Maps or Waze to view cops and stuff like that. On the Tesla, you're stuck with just their ecosystem. So it's their maps. You're not able to view the cops on your route. So you're locked in, but what they've done over there is just really elegant, and it's nice, it's integrated well, so that you really don't often need these other, third-party mapping apps and stuff. I don't know when you need your Chick-fil-A app on the Tesla, but it's not an option. At least it is over here. Now here's some odds and ends, things that my wife and I have noticed after driving these things for many miles and things that you might want to know. For doors and convenience, it's a little obvious, but worth mentioning. With a minivan and little kids, you just can't beat the old slider. They're not going to be dinging the car doors next to you, and you're able to open and close them with the touch of a button. You can't beat that. The sound of closing a minivan door is this. With the Tesla, I'm sorry, you might hate me for this, but I actually really hate these door handles. When my hands are full of, camera gear and water bottles and snacks and stuff, and I'm trying to, juggle this thing open with one hand, I'm not a fan, I'm sorry. Closing it sounds like this. But now for the Kia, you've got these door handles that sit flush when it's locked. They eject out when it's unlocked. It's a nice little indicator to know if it's locked or not. One thing to note, if you got super small kids like I do, it might actually be really hard for them to open the door like it is for my little daughter. So that's something to think about. But as for the sound, check this out. Oh, it's a solid thunk, and you'll hear that when you're driving. It is like a quiet cabin. It's really nice. For comforts and seating positions, you've got nice leather in here. It's cushy, armrest here, long road trips. It's nice, pretty good, adjustable back headrest. I'd say this is like a, 7 out of 10. With the Tesla, they went minimalism, so the style looks good. I'd say the comfort it's good. You got your armrest here. It's a little bit more compact and tight. For long drives, I don't know, I'm gonna say maybe 6 out of 10. Oh, and the headrest, worst headrest I've ever experienced in a car. This thing is so hard. I'm sorry, I hate it. For the EV9, now this thing is like a 10 out of 10. We've got this recliner footrest. If you really want to go back, this thing is gonna go up. You could take your full naps in here. You don't even need a hotel. It's not really needed, but it's a cool little bonus feature. As for the leather, the seating, the comfort, the steering wheel, the headrest, oh my goodness, it's the most comfortable headrest you'll ever experience. And even in this model, I've got massaging seats to raise and lower my hips and tush, and heated and cooled. This thing is a 10 out of 10. It is so comfortable. One small but funny detail that's easy to take for granted is air ventilation, climate control. With the old minivan, you got lots of buttons, dials, quick, control while I'm driving. I can go up and down safely. And then for, angling the vents, it's the old school dials, and it just works. In the Tesla, that's pretty funny. In the Tesla, in the name of simplicity, it's actually a bit more complicated. You've got all your touchscreen controls up and down. It's not bad. However, if you want to angle it, well, now you've got to do, look, it's not even working. Let me see. Okay, see, where is it? Why aren't this is a perfect example. Let's say I want to change my vents from my face to my feet or angle it. It's gone. It's not even here. What am I missing? It's on. Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Mm-hmm. That took forever. I don't know what that was. So now that it's finally here, look at, ooh, it's fancy. Aim it up and down. Maybe you guys are going to hate me for it, but I find it completely obnoxious. When I want it right on my face to warm or cool me, mine are broken. It doesn't even hit my face. I feel like these don't work in my car. So I think something that kind of was cool in the beginning, I don't love the angling and stuff like that. As for the climate control, it's really good. I just leave it to auto, set the temp, and it nails it pretty quickly, and that part's really nice. And the EV9, a nice mixture between the two. You've got your touch controls up here in order to, turn on your climate controls, but you've also gotten physical buttons, dials, and switches to go up and down. Temp control, you can hit this to expand out to this, front, rear. You got your seats, so it's all on the touchscreen, but you also got physical dials for passenger, driver, and when you want to aim it, look at this magic. It's physical. I can get it right where I want it, and it's just locked in. It's old school, but it works. I like it. Personal preference, I love having a good beverage with me on my drives, and check this out, this big ball glass. It can sort of shove in there. The little rubber thing pulls out to clean it out. I'd say the minivan does a pretty good job. Also, Dalton's Big Daddy flask. I mean, check it out. It actually holds in there secure. It's not messing around. A pass with the van. With the Tesla, I'm sorry, big fail here. I mean, look at this. It's one size. Small things are gonna be wobbly. Big things won't fit at all. I honestly nerded out so much, I 3D printed a little adapter so it'd hold my bigger drinks, but yeah, the Tesla cup holder, big spills and gunkies in here, I can't pull it out to wash it. And then the Big Daddy, for sure not fitting. But then, best of both worlds, check this out. These little things, they slide in. Boom, you can hold lots of, storage goodies and snacks in there. When you want your cup holders, slide those guys out. This one's a little bit smaller. Big size there, big size. Look at all that extra room. You could fit a bigger one. You got your little grippies here to fit the smaller stuff. Close one up if you just want one. And then you also got 2 here and 2 right here. Now, when it comes to pricing, of course, it's going to vary differently a lot with your trim packages and models and such. However, with all things considered, here's the approximate pricings that you might find. With EVs, there's some big tax credits going on right now. I think for myself and my family, we're probably going to be selling the gas minivan and going fully electric fleet, which I'm super excited about. Now, if you guys want to know more about the pricing breakdowns, we bought cash, lease, those sort of details and why, the coupons and discounts we got, comment down below and I'll make a full video for you guys.